This episode of the Acts of Geekery podcast is brought to you by the Asgardian Pub and Grill. You don't need to fight for your place in Valhalla. You just need to come on down to try the best meat and mead this side of the Bifrost. Try our beer-basted boar ribs and our Latvian stout, chilled in the heart of Jotunheim. No trickster gods are allowed, just the best deals around. Asgardian Pub. Try it today.
Beer-basted this side of the Bifrost, huh?
Yep.
To get some of that beer-basted boar alliteration in, huh?
Absolutely.
All right, well,
Always
that's
have
good.
to do that.
That's what we're all about here on the Acts of Geekery, the alliteration.
It is episode 27 of the Acts of Geekery podcast. I'm Corey.
And I'm Scott.
And we're the Brothers Geek, here to bring you all the geeky things in the world of geekdom, even some that we've made up ourselves.
Those are the best kind.
Yeah.
Those are the best kind.
Well, we're not saying that the news is going to be made up. We're talking about the ad that you just heard.
One of these stories is made up. It is up to you, the listener, to let us know which one you think it is.
Oh, Lord. They're going to...
They're going to think
something like that.
They're going to think all of them are bad.
They're going to be like, no, that one's not true.
Oh, that's not true.
There's no way.
No way. Now, that TV show didn't do that. Well, come on.
Well, let's go ahead and get into the news then.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story. And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Scott, how do we usually start every episode when we can?
With an advertisement. And then saying our names.
Every time.
And then saying who we are.
Uh-huh.
And then a clip of something.
Uh-huh.
And then some music.
Uh-huh.
Not necessarily in those orders, though.
Yeah.
Right?
If you would like to be a new host on the Acts of Geekery podcast...
We have an opening.
No, we start with Dawn of Justice news, Scott.
or
Age of
Avengers,
Ultron.
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, now you get it. Well,
I just remembered, okay?
We have a Dawn of Justice rumor to bring to you today.
Not another one.
Yeah, these things are... It's kind of like this movie is really big and everybody wants to talk about it.
I know. I'm okay with that, though, because I'm excited.
So the new rumor is that the movie is going to be split Gesundheit.
Excuse me.
And then you just you sneeze off mic and then you just cough directly into the mic.
Yes.
Should we start this over?
No.
Okay,
keep going.
This will be fine.
That's fine.
Anyway, Dawn of Justice has been rumored to be split into two movies.
Oh man, they're doing the Harry Potter, Hunger Games, Hobbit treatment. Well, 2/3 of the Hobbit treatment because it's not 3 movies.
Yeah. So you've got Dawn of Justice, which comes out in 2016.
Okay.
But before that, you've got the first part that people are claiming is called Enter the Night in 2015.
You know, I find this kind of odd because I haven't heard anything about it until just now.
Yeah.
You would think that
The studio would be like, yeah, we're doing this.
yeah, hey, by the way, it's going to come out. We're splitting it up because it was a 4-hour movie or 5-hour movie. We decided to do half and half, you know.
Well, this has been running rampant around the internet. And Henry Cavill just came out.
And boy, are its electrons tired. Right? I just flew in, and my legs hurt. I think that's how the joke goes, right?
Yeah,
Something
you know
like that.
Why don't you leave the comedy to me this episode?
You don't want comedy bronze?
No, I don't want comedy bronze.
Okay.
Let's go comedy silver this time, please.
You're setting the bar really high.
It is really high.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. So Henry Cavill came out and said, no, Batman vs. Superman won't be 2 movies. So everybody who's trying to talk about this rumor,
Who's
stop.
this Cavill, and why can we trust him?
He's Superman. And we trust him because he's Superman.
Oh. Okay, well, it's good enough for me.
He broke Zod's neck for you.
I know. Don't bring that up. That's a point of contention for a lot of geeks. Yeah.
It really riles him up.
Superman doesn't kill.
Well, it's like Superman doesn't let innocents die either. Take your choice.
Yeah, right.
And you know what? You know what? I'm sick of that with people being like, oh, well, Batman doesn't kill either, and they didn't show him killing. Yeah, they did. Batman Begins, he leaves his mentor to die. and clearly says, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm not going to save you
I
either.
don't have to save you.
And it's like, no, that's called killing somebody when you're not doing everything in your power to help them out.
Isn't there I think there's a legal term. Something it has something to do with manslaughter, but it's like involuntary manslaughter or something like that. Yeah.
No, I think that would be voluntary.
You didn't knowingly run over that guy, but because you ran over him, you still killed him.
Mm-hmm. That would be involuntary manslaughter.
Okay.
I think voluntary manslaughter would be, I didn't lift a finger to save this person, so they died.
But is it the job of a person to save another person from danger by putting themselves into danger? No, it is not. It is not against the law. They have tried to put those Good Samaritan laws on the books like that, where if you don't do everything you possibly can to stop a mugging or a rapist or a murderer, you're going to get arrested too. No, they can't expect the average person to do that. But I mean, maybe in Batman's case, since he's a superhero,
exactly. That's what I'm getting at. Is Batman isn't a normal person.
As far as a court of law is concerned, him jumping off the train to save himself is fine.
Well, as far as a court of law is concerned, one alien from another planet killing another alien from another planet is not exactly illegal either.
It has nothing. It's an alien.
Exactly.
I mean, granted, it happened on American soil or Earth soil, I should say, because part of it was in the Indian Ocean. So
yeah, that's kind of like.
Yeah, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see.
So if you want to go with the technical route, Superman didn't kill anybody, at least according to our laws, because we have no laws for an alien killing another alien.
Well, you know when they have ambassadors from other countries here in America, and they're on foreign soil, they have diplomatic immunity. Does Clark Kent, being an alien, or not Clark Kent, but Superman, being an alien...
Whoa, you just...
Oh, no, I told everyone.
Yeah, the CIA is like going after him now. Thank you for that.
Does Superman, being an alien, does he have diplomatic immunity? Because he's the ambassador to Krypton.
That's a good question.
So him killing someone would be like, well, we'll just kind of look the other way. And now Zod is definitely looking the other way.
We've got so much more mileage out of this story than I thought we would. I thought we would just discount a rumor and then move on.
That's what I'm good for.
Yes,
derailing things. That's my superpower, is being able to derail conversations.
Mine's Dorito breath.
Dorito breath? Mm-hmm. That's not a bad superpower, actually.
It's not a good superpower either.
It depends on who you're trying to date and or marry. If they love Doritos, it can be good.
I'm already married, so I don't have to worry about...
But does your wife like Dorito breath?
I don't know. Yes, she does.
Hey, we have a guest listener.
Sitting in the peanut gallery is my wife, who's actually listening to the podcast today.
Yell out hello.
Yo!
That's not hello, but that'll work.
I wonder if that even picked up.
I don't know.
Yeah, well, if it picked up, please send us an email.
Or because we don't listen to our own podcast.
No, that would
Corey
be,
does.
Yeah,
I don't.
Yeah. I'll listen to it. I'll be like, Casey will say hello, and I'll be in the van going, hi.
She didn't say hello, though. She said yo. Mm-hmm. Yo. Totally different words. One is one half of a toy.
You have just, like...
I'm sorry. Yo-yo!
Yeah, there you go.
Better?
You've just opened up Pandora's box by allowing her to speak.
I know.
You might as well step a little bit closer.
Quiet on the set. All right, anyways.
All right.
So Henry Cavill says no
Yep.
to it being split, which part of me says, darn it, because it would have been cool to have the first half come out this year. Mm-hmm. However, where would they put it? Ant-Man's in July?
Yeah.
Right?
They would throw it in August.
Or June.
Or September.
They could do June. Mm-hmm. But June probably wouldn't work because everyone will be still watching Age of Ultron.
For a whole month afterwards.
Oh, yeah. I bet that thing will be in theaters for like 2 months until it finally is making less money than it takes to run the projector for electricity,
Yeah.
So, yeah. All right.
Well, Dawn of Justice, Warner Brothers came out with that to kind of put the spotlight on them, and Marvel said, I'm not having any of that.
If it turns out to be a 4.5-hour movie, I am totally okay with that.
Most
people won't, but I am okay with that. Give me an intermission so I can go pee in the middle. Let's all go to the lobby.
We have two very different intermission songs.
I know. Mine's the beginning one.
Yeah, and then mine's the classic in between Monty Python intermission song.
That's true. Yep.
Right. Well, Marvel said we're not going to have any of that. We want the focus to be on Marvel, and they came out with their Ant-Man trailer.
Those selfish people.
And we'll talk about the Ant-Man trailer when we get to trailers. But
okay, well, I mean, this is a full trailer because they did the little ant-sized
and then the human-sized
trailer beforehand. So yeah,
But what I wanted to talk to you about with the news was the images that were released from Entertainment Weekly and the suits, basically.
ooh,
So first of all, let's talk about Ant-Man's suit.
okay, it's going the more practical route.
Yeah, it looks really close to the comics too, though.
It does,
Surprisingly.
but what it reminds me of is Star-Lord's. It kind of looks like Star-Lord,
Actually, yeah, you know what? It does kind of look like Star-Lord's outfit.
but not. And then that's not bad. I mean,
No, I mean he doesn't have the jacket.
no,
obviously.
but it's kind of like the leather, more durable. You know.
I like how they kept the helmet pretty much the same. They've got the speaker thing in front that he can communicate to ants with.
One of the guys at work was like, how the heck can he talk to ants? I heard that he can do that. And I said, well, that speaker in front of him actually takes his voice and modulates it into sounds that ants can hear.
Yeah, ant sonar or whatever.
Yeah, like supersonic sound or subsonic sound or something
Ant
like that.
sonar is my least favorite ant.
Ant
actually.
sonar?
Yes.
AUNT sonar?
Yep.
She always knows where you are. It's weird.
Yeah, you can never sneak out of the house.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I mean,
It's in the middle of the night. In the middle of the night, she's sleeping, going,
I love it.
just while she's asleep.
Do that a few more times without me laughing. Add the B in the end there too, like
If I add a B, it's boo.
boo, B, boopy boopy. Anyway, that is for my personal like ringtones.
Okay, that'll be your
when you call.
that'll be your text
Yep.
tone. Oh, Scott's texting me. It must be Ant Sonar.
But then I also wanted to talk about the Yellow Jacket, who is going to be the villain for this. His costume,
Which is played by
Corey Stoll.
the guy that plays Senator, what's his name?
I don't know, some senator in
House of Cards. He's like 10 episodes in it or something, and he does a really good job.
Yeah.
And he's a really, in that he's not really a bad guy, but he does some pretty messed up stuff, and you're like,
Well,
dang,
that's
that
just
guy's
everybody in
kinda
that
screwed
show.
up.
Kind of does
Well,
messed up stuff.
True.
Yeah.
But that looks cool, and
Yep,
it
and
kind of looks
now-
like the Iron Spider.
We saw this a little bit ago, and you said you didn't like it. We saw the same one.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I just said I wasn't sure
Okay.
about it.
You've
It took me a little bit.
So, and we'll probably post this on the page.
Yep.
If we ever post things on the page. But you've got the normal kind of yellow. It kind of looks like the Ant-Man suit. He's got the same kind of helmet, only with no like antennae. And he's got two things coming out the back that I can only assume are like jet propulsion things.
Off his shoulder.
Yeah,
kind of
off his
off
shoulders.
his shoulder blades. And they look like, they're about 2-3 feet long or so. And it's probably how he flies.
And they look like classic, like the classic style of sci-fi when you're trying to look like a bug.
Yes.
Propulsion things. And then down near the small of his back, he's got two extra legs coming out that
and they're extra long, like
Yeah.
a real yellow jacket or a wasp would have. They have those really long extra legs. But
Which
these
is
ones
cool.
they have blades on them. Look really closely. They've got blades on them.
Oh, I didn't see the bladed tip.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
So
yeah.
that's kind of what sold me on it. I was like, oh, sweet.
I really enjoy that. I think that it looks really great. So
Yeah. So you've got Paul Rudd plays Ant-Man. Corey Stoll plays Yellow Jacket.
Yellow Jacket.
And you've got what's her name from
Evangeline Lilly.
Evangeline. Is it Evangeline?
I don't know.
Whatever. Evangeline Lilly from The Hobbit that played Aruwamla. They all have weird
Tariel.
Yeah,
That's like the easiest.
Arwell.
That is the second easiest elf name to remember.
Gimli is the other one, right?
Yes. Yes, Scott. Gimli is the other one.
But one thing that like kind of actually impressed me is Paul Rudd is not dumpy anymore.
No, yeah,
he pulled a. I am like terrible
Pratt.
at names. He pulled a Chris Pratt. I'm terrible at names today. Where Chris Pratt was kind of dumpy and chubby, and he got just ripped,
Yeah.
and really in shape for Star-Lord. And
So
Paul Rudd did the same
So all
thing.
we need is to be cast in a major
Yes,
Marvel movie, and
because they literally come to you and say, "Hey, we want you to be this character. However, this character is in really good shape. So for the next 6 months, your job is to get in shape. We are paying you to get in shape. That is it. That is all you do. That's all Paul Rudd and I I forgot his name again already. Chris Pratt have done before they started filming was Workout, which I wish that would be great with someone.
Marvel, DC, we have put the challenge out to you. Get us a major movie so we can get fit.
However,
DC, do not approach me about Bouncing Boy. I am not. Actually, you know what?
I was going to say they're going to come to me for the Blob, and they're going to come to you for Bouncing Boy, and they're going to be like, "No, your job is not to get in shape; it's to eat more. Here's 6 months worth of food. You must eat it in a month."
I can already feel my wife cringing at me getting fatter.
At the Bouncing Boy.
Let's see here.
Cool costumes. We'll talk about the trailer a little bit later today.
Yay. All right, so now we move on to CW. A lot of news coming out of the CW.
Yeah, they are becoming kind of a powerhouse in the
at least in the hero world or the geek world.
In the geek world, yeah, because there's all kinds of vampire shows and there's the superhero shows.
Nobody cares about vampire shows anymore.
Apparently they do because they make a lot of them.
Put your hand down.
Yeah, vampires. Anything kind of like Supernatural, the show Supernatural, of course,
which got renewed for an 11th season.
Awesome,
11th.
Good for them.
Like, how many shows can say they go into 11 seasons?
Not many.
Simpsons. That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, Simpsons. Smallville went to 10.
That's true.
10.
I
have a feeling that Arrow and Flash might go at least to 7.
I think 7 is what you get.
But yeah, they've been doing good. They've got like the 100, which is the space one where their humans are in space.
That one just got renewed.
They've got the Tomorrow People.
No, Tomorrow
that didn't get removed.
No, it was canceled last time,
which is fine because it's not very good. I watched it and I was really bored.
So the series being ordered for renewal include Arrow season 4. Yay! Jane the Virgin season 2.
Don't care.
Reign season 3, which, like you said, is Game of Thrones light.
Game of Thrones light. Yeah, it's the non-R-rated version of Game of Thrones,
which doesn't sound interesting at all to me.
Not to me, but there are a lot of people that think that Game of Thrones is a little out there,
true.
A little.
So I guess this
too
does
heavy.
provide them what they need without being. Supernatural gets season 11.
Cool.
The 100 gets season 2. I'm just going to call it the 100.
No,
season 3.
Which that's surprising. I didn't even know it was out for 2. I've got them all recorded. I need to go watch them.
Yeah, I know you have them all recorded.
I watched the first couple and they are.
We skip a few seconds of Arrow because you have them all recorded.
Oh, boo-hoo.
The Flash gets renewed for a second season.
Yay.
Obviously.
Yay.
And the Originals?
What is that one?
I don't know.
Originals. I'm going to look that up.
And then Vampire Diaries gets season 7.
All right.
Which,
I hear that one, a lot of people like that one. I tried watching it, and I didn't really care much.
Well, I think it's more for the Twilight fans.
Okay.
Who can't get enough of Twilight. Because, I mean, my wife likes vampires, and she doesn't really watch that show at all. So
yeah, I watched a little bit of it, and I didn't really...
She's giving me the thumbs down. She hates that show, apparently.
The Originals.
It's so nice having you here, by the way. Okay, so give me the thumbs up for that.
Let's see. It's a horror fantasy genre for the Originals.
Oh, okay. Go on.
It's a spin-off of the Vampire Diaries.
Okay.
Let's see. It's about a werewolf.
Oh, it's a spin-off of the Vampire Diaries?
Yep. It's kind of like a werewolf deal. Okay. Yeah, okay. The werewolf, which is everything not vampires, basically. So they're like, there's this big supernatural world. Oh, the CW needs to tie all this stuff together with Supernatural. You've got Vampire Diaries, which ties into the Originals, which needs to tie into Supernatural. And Supernatural comes after these people when they do something bad.
Yeah.
They do something horrible, and the Supernatural, the brothers come after them and kill them. How awesome would that be?
I would watch that. Yeah, I would watch that just to watch the Vampire Diaries kids die.
Yep.
Also, speaking of tying things in, Arrow and Flash will have an annual crossover event.
Yeah.
According to the CW.
That was actually my favorite episode this year.
And if they keep adding more and more things in, it's going to get even better. Or it will get so bloated and dissolve.
Hopefully not.
Other stuff that we have includes Diggle is going to finally suit up for Arrow, which is great because he's just been wearing his same old outfit for this entire time. I don't know.
What's he going to be? Is he going to be an Afghanistan man? Because
think-
that's all he can talk about on the show.
No, he's going to assume the role of Arrow in Oliver's absence. So
No.
Black Arrow is back.
No. Okay. But no. He needs to get lightning powers and become Black Lightning and team up with Blue Devil.
No, he needs to get his Green Lantern ring and be John Diggle Stewart.
Okay. Except for, No. I have a hard time. I have a hard time with him.
Why?
I just
He's-
do.
I like Diggle as a character.
I like making fun of him. I don't like him as a character, but I
You like
making
making fun of
him.
everybody on that show.
But I love the show.
Yeah.
I love Felicity. I love Oliver.
I don't really like Felicity.
I don't really like Roy that much, but that's because at first they gave him the Mirakuru strength powers, but they didn't really tie him into the whole mythos where, he's a heroin addict.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, whatever.
Alrighty. We also got our first.
Which kind of burns my theory of Ray Palmer finally getting the Atom suit working and becoming the hero of Star City for a while Arrow was gone.
Oh, well, actually, in this article, it said that both. Oh wait, I said I didn't like Felicity. I do like Felicity.
I was gonna say you don't like Felicity.
No. I was thinking, what's her name? Laurel.
No, yeah.
'cause
Although
that article
she
also
looks
talked
she looks
about-
pretty good as Black Canary, and so far we haven't really seen her suit up or actually do anything. But
Again, that article talks about both Laurel and Brandon Ruth's character, Ray Palmer, suiting up. In
Okay.
addition to that, so it takes 3 different heroes to make up one Arrow, apparently.
well, they're all inexperienced. That's why.
Yeah.
I thought that Red Arrow was going to become the savior of Star City for a while.
No, I think he's just gonna mope about his girlfriend some more. All right. So, Tom Cavanaugh, the gentleman who plays Harrison Wells on the Flash show, who at the end of the mid-season, the mid-season finale, revealed the yellow suit, came out and tweeted and said, "Yeah, sure, he's the man in the yellow suit." When somebody asked him if Harrison Wells is. A lot of people are confused. They're like, is he being sarcastic? Is he being serious?
I think he's being sarcastic.
You think he's being sarcastic?
I think he is teaming up and building the suit because he hasn't been able to. His whole plot line is, how do I figure out the Flash's powers? And so he hasn't figured it out yet. And from the comics, we know that the Reverse Flash is actually going backwards through time.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's Tom Cavanaugh. I think it's
I think our theory that it's and spoiler alert if you don't really want to know, it's
the guy, detective.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I know. I'm having
Thom, Eddie Thom.
Eddie Thom. I'm having name farts today as well.
You're just having everything farts.
No.
Yeah, it really stinks in here right now,
I
Scott.
think that Eddie Thom is going to become the Reverse Flash, and because Tom Cavanaugh's character
is going to give him the
is
serum.
going to give him the suit, give him the serum, help him become the Reverse Flash. Because at the end, he puts on that tachyon device or whatever on it, and he says something about like, there you go, or here,
Merry Christmas.
Merry
is what he
Christmas,
says.
or something like
But
that.
he says it in the Reverse Flash voice.
Oh, that's true. Dang it.
But we talked about how the ring that he put on might give him like voice modulation.
Yeah, maybe he's testing it.
I don't know. It's
Who
so
knows?
confusing. I don't want him to be Reverse Flash.
I don't either. Well, unless he dies and Eddie Thom picks it up.
Something's got to.
So weird.
Well, anyway, we also got our first look at the actual Firestorm costume.
Robbie Raymond, which is the girl scientist's fiance that died.
And then came back, and he has got. Right now, he just has fire powers.
Yeah.
But I hope that they expand on the fact that he can change things at the molecular level.
I hope so too, for the simple fact that we already have a person that has fire powers, Heatwave.
Yeah.
And they showed that in the one where with Captain Cold, he actually goes and talks to.
Yeah.
And he says, "Hey, whatever your name is, Heatwave's real name.
I have this weapon for you. I need your help."
Yeah, and it's a fire weapon. So that's Heatwave. I hope that they show that not only does he have the fire powers, but he has the ability to change things at the molecular level.
Yeah, but his suit looks pretty good. Looks like a good modernization of it, because the Firestorm suit is kind of silly looking.
Yeah. I mean, sure. But this one's got like a device on the front. It looks like it maybe helps him control his powers or something.
Oh, yeah.
Or focus them.
Yep.
But, yeah, interesting.
Yeah, so that looks pretty cool. And again, we'll probably have to post that so people can actually see this stuff that we're talking about.
Yeah, maybe people should do their own dang work. Gosh. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
They did. They downloaded the podcast.
Hey,
That
that's
was
good
their
enough.
work.
It's good enough work.
And then we also have a new cast member coming to The Flash.
Okay.
Liam
McIntyre.
McIntyre, who was on Spartacus,
Okay.
has been cast as Weather Wizard.
Wait a minute. We already have a weather wizard.
Well, hold on, Scott.
And apparently he was killed in the first episode?
Yes, he was. Because I think West shot him.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. But Mark Martin, the first Weather Wizard. Oh, no. This is Liam's character.
Okay.
Mark Martin is the brother to Clyde Martin, the first Weather Wizard.
Which I believe I remember this being correct in the comics. And,
Okay.
and I think that what happens is Mark Martin takes up Clyde's name
Oh, okay.
and ends up changing his name to Clyde Martin, or at least calls himself Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe as an honorary thing to his brother. Because they were both in the airplane that got struck by lightning.
Yeah, and they both got weather powers.
They both got weather powers, yeah.
Which is incredibly cool, in my opinion.
It's pretty cool power, yeah. So, I
Yep.
don't know.
So he'll be appearing in episode 15. There was also some casting of a girl who was cast as a Flash villain called Peekaboo. At least in the comics, she was called
Pikachu?
Peekaboo. Peekaboo.
Pikachu.
Peekaboo.
Pikachu.
Peekaboo.
Pikachu.
Peekaboo.
Pika.
Pika.
Chew.
Peekaboo.
Pikachu. Peekaboo.
But I really didn't catch her name or anything like that, so we're just going to move on before this gets out of control.
Okay.
Peekaboo.
Pikachu will be in Flash,
No.
guys. That's where all the lightning comes from. He carries them
Well,
on his
there's
back.
right there is your false news story. Pikachu will not be in Flash.
Flash carries him on his back in a backpack, like one of those little baby carriers, and that's where the lightning comes from when he runs.
Absolutely. I'm just going to agree with you now.
You should.
Scott, I'm excited to tell you this. Marvel's responding by saying that Daredevil is going to be coming to Netflix next April. Netflix, April 10th.
Awesome.
So,
I'm so stoked for that. I hope that does fantastic. I know we're probably going to end up sitting down and watching the entire series, start to finish in a day.
pretty much in one day.
Saturday, movie party, my house, Daredevil.
You're all invited.
All three of you that listen.
Except for you, Mom. You stay home.
You stay home. No, just kidding. You can come if you want.
I don't think she wants to watch Daredevils.
Maybe.
The Daredevils.
Maybe the Daredevils is her favorite show on TV. I don't know.
Anyway, so that's coming April 10th.
April 10th. I'm going to put that on my calendar. When is that? Is that a day or a weekday?
That would be, if I'm not mistaken, a Thursday.
It is a Friday.
Ah, so close.
It is a Friday.
Because,
which is perfect time to actually bring it out.
When is the 19th, by the way?
That would make the 19th of April?
Yeah.
The 19th of April would be, I don't know. Let me see. I have a calendar.
Yeah, that would be a good idea.
It's a Sunday.
It's a Sunday?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I probably need to plan for like a weekend vacation that weekend.
Sure.
Sorry. No, that's personal stuff. We don't need that on the podcast.
Whoa. Getting way too personal here.
Yeah. Also, coming from Marvel, Edward James Olmos from Battlestar Galactica.
Uh-huh.
Really cool actor. I like the way he sounds. I like the way he looks.
You like the way he looks?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's kind of old, but I mean, he's got that kind of classic. He kind of looks like what's his name from Hot Rod, the dad.
Oh yeah. That guy played on
Ian McShane.
Yes.
Thank you.
Edward James Olmos was the commander.
Yeah. He actually was in the original series too, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. He played the same character in both. He was the commander in the original series, and then he was the about to retire, William Adama is the character's name.
Adama, thank you.
About to retire in the other one before everything went crazy.
Yep. And he is going to be joining the cast of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
as a character who is supposed to be.
Do we know his name? Do we know?
The name is there, but he's an original character. He's not part of the normal.
Oh, yeah, those are hit and miss for me. Like the girl in the flower dress.
I think she does fine.
No. Let me finish.
Okay.
The girl in the flower dress. At first, I didn't like her, and now I like her a lot more. But at first, I was like, "This is kind of a dumb character." Like, what's the guy? The guy they turned into Deathlock. At first, he wasn't Deathlock, and he had the powers of the serum or whatever.
Not James Gunn. He was on a lot of.
Yeah,
he was anyways, on Angel.
At first, when he had super strength and stuff, I did not like his character at all. And then they turned him into Deathlock, and now I like his character a lot more.
Well, Edward James Olmos will bring his gravitas to the role of Robert Gonzalez.
Okay.
Which apparently causes a lot of stir up for everybody who he runs into, including the agents. So that is going to be interesting, and I cannot wait to see what Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. does with this second half of their second season.
Yeah, well, we don't get it until the end of March.
No, that's true.
But we got all kinds of other shows to watch.
And we'll talk about something that we watch coming up here in a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, we will. We'll talk about a lot of some things we watched, actually.
All right, the last little bit of news, and then I got something fun for you, Scott.
Okay. All right.
Is that the Deadpool movie is eyeing T.J. Miller and Ed Skrein for unspecified roles.
Okay.
Now, T.J. Miller is kind of a comedy actor. He was in Big Hero 6 recently as Stanley's son.
Yes. Oh, and he's also been in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hilarious in that.
And then Ed Skrein was Dario Naharis in Game of Thrones before taking over the role of the Transporter after Jason Statham left that series.
Dario Naharis. Which one's that one?
I don't know.
Is that the one that teaches her to fence? Teaches what's her name to fence?
No.
No. Dario's the faceless man.
Are you sure it's Dario?
Yes, I believe that. He's the faceless man that changes his face
that is
to the assassin.
Yep, you're right.
Yes.
Now, a lot of people are wondering, because they're in unspecified roles, and they're wondering, well, maybe Ed will be TJ will be a supporting character and Ed will be the villain. But I think that TJ Miller is going to be the yellow comedy voice, and Ed Skrein is going to be the normal voice inside of Deadpool's head, the calmer voice.
And if you don't understand what Craig's talking about, Deadpool comics always have multiple thought bubbles.
Because he's kind of crazy and has multiple personalities.
Multiple personalities. He's nuts. I mean, when you get killed over and over and over again and never die, you kind of would go a little nuts.
Marvel Comics announced that they were going to kill him off now.
Yeah, I actually saw that. They're going to kill him off permanently. And I'm putting permanently in air quotes because he never...
Yeah, no. It's Marvel.
It's the same kind of thing they're doing with Wolverine. He lost his healing powers, so he's going to die, and somehow he's going to come back, and he'll come back. Because they're not going to kill off Deadpool, one of their most popular characters.
Yeah.
And they're not going to kill him off permanently.
Yeah.
But anyways, in the comics, he always has multiple thought bubbles. In the Deadpool game that came out pretty recently, there's multiple voices that speak to him, and they all have different personalities.
Yeah,
too.
And I think those ones were all played by the same person,
probably,
but just with a different inflection. But I think for the sake of the audience, they want 3 different people to be kind of the voices in his head. And everything.
So every time it goes in his head, he's got normal him, he's got super serious, kill everyone voice, and then he's got the
crazy,
the not serious, the goofy, let's go get chimichangas.
Yeah,
that kind of voice.
I really hope that's T.J. Miller's character.
It probably will, because he's hilarious in Silicon Valley. That show is really good.
There's one more thing that I forgot to mention with the whole CW thing that I can't believe we skipped over.
Okay.
Mostly because I put it right here. We are getting a Vixen TV series.
What?
Now, Vixen is a character, and Scott, look at this. This is exactly what we're looking at here. It is not going to be live action. It's going to be animated.
On
CW's... Their online thing.
Okay.
CW Seed is, I think, what it's called. And it's going to be in the same universe as Flash.
I like the art
Arrow.
style.
Yep.
It's kind of like Flashpoint.
Kind of
Flashpoint-ish.
Kind of Flashpoint, kind of Young Justice-y.
Yeah.
Now, Vixen is a former Justice League member. She is a colored lady who has a totem that when she touches it and says the name of an animal, she gains the powers of that animal.
Yeah. So if she wants super strength, she'll say, she'll touch it and,
Elephant,
and there's always like a shadow or a spirit elephant
aura
that appears, or an aura that appears around her, behind her.
And like this picture that I've got up here
Yeah.
for you, she's got the aura of an eagle around her,
Yeah.
and she's falling from a building without
Yeah.
going to be taking any damage. I'm super excited for this.
I love animated series, especially superhero stuff. They can do so much awesome things with them, and it's hard for them to mess it up because, TV. I don't know. Voice acting seems to be like they can get it right a lot better than they can real acting.
And so that's coming next fall. That's like super soon, and I'm excited.
But it'll be online only, huh?
Yeah, it'll be on in our own
CW Seed.
CW Seed. I've never heard of it. So the network's platform for original digital content.
Huh. Cool.
Now, I told my wife this, and she said, well, what if they want, are they going to get the same voice actors for Flash and Arrow? And probably.
Maybe.
But then she said, what if they want to bring her over into the regular universe? Do they cartoon her in?
No, they just...
So they get an actress that looks like Vixen and then just voice over her with the Vixen from the animated show.
I'm sure they can find... Maybe they thought of that. Maybe they thought, hey, we'll find someone that could play Vixen in live action, but also make her be a voice actor.
Yeah.
One, because it's way cheaper. And two, because of that, if they ever need a crossover.
And that's the thing is they'll test this, and if people really like Vixen, they'll throw her in and start making more stuff.
So Vixen is Animal Man DC? He is, isn't he? Vixen
So
and
Vixen
Animal
pulls the same power source as Animal Man. The Red is what it's called, which is all the animal life on the world.
Yeah,
and they pull from the same power
Animal
source.
Man, he's actually one of my favorite,
lesser known
because they did a New 52 series with him, and it is amazing.
Yeah, I
need to go get it. Because the run's over. They did 24 issues, I believe, and they canceled it because it wasn't selling as well.
Yeah.
And that doesn't even mean that it's bad. It just means it's not as popular.
As far as I know, Animal Man just doesn't need the...
He doesn't need a totem or anything.
Yeah, he just pulls on
the cool thing is he can go to other planets, like alien planets, and he can pull from alien life.
Oh, nice.
Because he's done that before, where all of a sudden he'll have these powers of this crazy, giant insect worm thing, and you're like, holy, where the heck did he come from? And then... because he can just tap into it and be like, oh, that's a cool power. I'm gonna
take that for a bit.
Take that. Laser eyes, you bet.
I do not want to go to the alien planet that has animals with laser eyes.
No, you don't.
They're herbivores, though. They only use it to cut down fruit.
Yes. Okay.
They also have telekinetic herbivores too.
That's canon. Vixen animated series.
Yep.
Sounds awesome.
I can't believe I forgot about that because that was the super most exciting news.
I was going to say something, but I thought maybe you were skipping it for a reason. It
No.
wasn't very important, or it was just a rumor that was unsubstantiated.
All right, I have kind of 24 fun facts about the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Of the best movie this year, of 2014, actually.
So James Gunn didn't originally want to see Chris Pratt audition. He was convinced by his assistant. So, yeah. Because he was probably like, oh, he's kind of dumpy.
Yeah, well, and then he said that he after 30 seconds of reading in the audition, he knew he was perfect for the role.
Yeah. Let's see.
This is failing.
I know. That's because I didn't read these beforehand.
Oh, okay.
So all I'll do is I'll tell you the one that really most interested me.
24.
Out of all 24, the Milano
is
named after...
Alyssa Milano.
Yeah. Chris Pratt. Not Chris Pratt's, but...
Star-Lord from the 80s.
Yeah.
Yeah. His crush.
I didn't know that.
You didn't?
Mm-mm.
I could have swore I've said that before.
I didn't. So... Well, that was a terrible segment.
You kind of... I'm going to have to ask for a geek card.
Yeah, I'm going to give you...
I'm sorry, but that is one of those... I don't know. I swear we've talked about it before.
That doesn't... I just didn't even think about how it could be anything just but a name.
Okay. Well...
But Scott,
now
what
you know.
is in a name? I mean...
What is a name?
A rose with any other name would move on to the reviews.
As true as it would.
What are you doing? I'm with it. I'm hip. Well, don't look at me like I'm frickin' Frankenstein. Give your father a hug.
It's time for our review, where we talk about what we were watched this week, I guess.
Yeah, and we didn't see a movie because there wasn't anything out actually last week. Nothing. Well, there was stuff. I shouldn't say that, but when I say that, I mean there's nothing.
Nothing but Taken 3.
There, actually, I actually got a comment today.
Oh yeah?
Are you guys going to the movie? No, we're not. Well, don't you want to go see Taken 3? And I went, and I was waiting for the person to go, that's a fake laugh. And I go, it's real. But yeah, not really interested in Taken 3. Don't want to spend. I even got like gift cards and stuff for Christmas.
And you're just like,
I don't want to waste them on that.
Exactly. Like even free movies aren't appealable for Taken 3.
No. But we did watch something awesome that was nearly the length of a movie.
It was the 2-hour premiere of Agent Carter.
Agent or Peggy.
The title of the show is just called Agent Carter.
Agent Peggy Carter of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah. But that's pretty much the full, like...
Agent Carter Peggy of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agent Peggy Carter.
Agent Carter Peggy of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. Carter Peggy.
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent...
Agent Parter Keggy of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay, well, let's get into the review of it instead of just making fun of the name.
Okay.
This is starring...
No, I'm making fun of the name, Haley Atwell.
Haley Atwell, thank you.
I'm making fun of the name because it has been called so many different things until now. Its official name is Agent Carter, like you said. However, it's always been
Peggy Carter,
Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Peggy Carter.
The first agent. It's like things like that.
And they couldn't make up their mind, and they finally picked Agent Carter.
Yeah.
Which is why when I was trying to find it to record, I typed in like 4 or 5 things, and it didn't come up until I finally just typed in the word Carter.
Yeah.
And it came up. And I was like,
there you go.
Jeez.
Well, it stars Haley Atwell after World War II. She Captain America's gone.
She's a very, very pretty British actress.
Yep.
And she was in Captain America, the Winter, or not Winter Soldier, First Avenger.
Yeah, just First Avenger. She was CGI'd in Winter Soldier.
That's true. She, as an old one, which was the weirdest.
Yeah.
It was weird.
Yeah.
When I watched it in the Winter Soldier, I was like, that's creepy weird. it was in the Uncanny Valley where things are real enough. They don't look totally real, but they're real enough to be just enough creepy.
Yeah.
I was like, and it was because of the way she's young, and an elderly person, or as you get older, the way you talk, your inflections, the way you move your mouth, the way your facial expressions, it all changes.
Yeah.
And not because you're, just getting old, but it just as you gain experience, things change. You get wiser, you talk softer, you talk slower, and not like, hey, everyone.
I've got a toffee for you.
It's just, you're not in a big rush to get to where you want to be in the conversation. However, it was hard. I think it was hard for the actress to play an older person because she didn't come across as older.
No, she just came across as kind of crazy.
Yeah. So
kind of creepy.
Well,
anyway, in this, she's her young self, and she's working for the SSR.
Like a couple years after Captain America put the ship down in the North Pole.
Yep. Which, by the way, he's in the North Pole. Why are you guys not searching there?
They are. Remember, they do search for it, but they couldn't find him. That's a lot of ocean to.
Yeah. And she's working in New York for a quote-unquote telephone company, but it's really the SSR because S.H.I.E.L.D. hasn't been invented yet.
Yeah. Strategic something relations or something like that.
Yeah, it's like the Secret Service. For
strategic reconnaissance and relations or something like that.
That would be the SRR.
Oh, SSR. Oh, okay.
Secret Strategic Reconnaissance or something like that. Secretive. Yeah. Anyway, not as cool as S.H.I.E.L.D. is what it is.
Yeah, right.
And she's kind of gone from this in the military, her opinions valued sort of thing, to being just
a 1950s work girl.
And being harassed by her colleagues.
Yep, being harassed and not letting... Why are you making basically, why are you commenting when you should be getting us coffee instead?
Yeah, exactly.
Treating her like a secretary was treated back in those days.
And that's basically what they're trying to make her.
And we're not condoning that, but the truth is, in the 50s, that's how it happened. I mean, that's what happened. Is women didn't have very many rights. They didn't have, and they got harassed all the time. And you know.
Now, the cool thing about this is that she is changing from this secretary role because her old friend Howard Stark has been accused of selling weapons to the enemy. And he recruits her to kind of help him find where these weapons, who stole them, and who's selling them, so that she can stop them from being sold, because there's a lot of bad stuff in Howard's vault that got stolen.
Howard is a genius.
Yeah.
Howard has invented stuff that is
Doomsday equivalent.
Decades ahead of its time. He's invented some stuff and gave it to the military, obviously, and sold it, and that's how he made his money. But he's also invented a lot of things where he has not sold them, and he's kept them to himself, because basically, if it got into the wrong hands at this point in time, in this day and age, they could wreak havoc on the world.
And somebody breaks into his secret vault and steals all of this stuff.
Yes, and is starting to sell it like on the black market.
And they think that he's the one that's double dealing. So
which
while everybody is looking for him, Haley Atwell is looking to clear his name and having to hide from the other intelligence agents.
Yes.
She gets the help of Howard Stark's butler, Jarvis Tetch.
Is it
Edwin. Oh, sorry, it's Edwin Jarvis.
Edwin Jarvis?
I don't know why I said Jarvis. Oh, sorry. Jarvis Tetch is the Mad Hatter from the DC universe.
Oh, okay.
Okay. No, Edwin Jarvis.
Edwin Jarvis.
The actual Jarvis, not the machine
now,
robot Jarvis.
How cool would it have been if they actually got Paul Bettany to play his character?
That would be really cool. The guy that they got to play Jarvis, though, is
pretty
just
good.
as cool.
Yeah. He doesn't have exactly the same voice. But it's pretty close.
He's pretty close, and he's funnier too. Like he's not the dry, sarcastic
That's because
Jarvis is.
Because Jarvis is a computer.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but he's kind of that. I'm getting thrown into this adventure stuff, and I like it, so I want to do more of it. You know.
Yes.
It's like Alfred before he became Alfred.
My favorite parts with him were when he's like, You have my services at any time, Miss Carter, except after 9 p.m.
Except after 9 p.m.
And she's like, what? We're in the secret business.
Why after 9 p.m.? And he's like, well, that's when we go to bed.
That's when we go to bed, yeah.
That's when me and the missus go to bed. Now,
and she kind of goes, you're new to this whole thing, aren't you? And he says, oh, I am definitely not new to it.
New to the espionage game.
But
I once caught the cook trying to steal silverware.
Right.
It also stars the gentleman from One Tree Hill. I can't remember his name.
Yeah, he has 3 names.
I'm going to look up this on IMDb.
Yeah, you should get all this ready. You fail. You fail at podcasting. Come on, Corey.
Which I heard a comment that said that if Haley Atwell does bad in this show, she can at least do the Carmen Sandiego movie, because she's wearing that red hat that looks like she could be
Chad Michael Murray.
Thank you. James D'Arcy is Edwin Jarvis. Chad Michael Murray plays Jack Thompson, who is a return from the war. He's been fighting for freedom, and now he's working for the SSR. Kind of that gumshoe.
There's a couple others in here that you might, as geeks, would be familiar with. Enver Jogjaj.
Jojag.
I don't know.
Jogad.
He's playing Daniel Sosa, but he has been in Dollhouse. He was one of the blank Dollhouse people that they imprinted
I believe
personalities
I think it's one of the ones that she liked, the main girl on
Yeah,
Dollhouse.
they ended up, Elijah Dushku.
The
main girl. Ended up falling in love with him. And he's done a lot of other stuff that you'll notice. As soon as you see his face, you'll recognize exactly who he is. Shea Wingham.
As Roger
Dooley. He's like the captain of the squad. And he's got a really recognizable face. He's been in a lot of stuff. He was in Wolf of Wall Street,
and American Hustle.
American Hustle.
Yeah.
He's been in a couple of those. And Lindsay Fonseca, which was the one that actually threw me. She plays a waitress.
Yep. The waitress trying to become an actress
that befriends Haley's character, Agent Carter.
Yes.
And at first I was like, who is this girl? She looks super familiar.
Nice IMDb picture.
Then I realized she is the main girl in Nikita.
Okay.
Which is a pretty popular TV show, and she was in Kick-Ass as Kick-Ass's girlfriend.
Oh, Kick-Ass 2.
Both.
One?
She was both. Remember, he's the
that's
girl that
right.
she's the girl that he's trying to date in the first one.
Okay.
In the second one, he's actually dating her, but she's kind of weird.
All right.
You know, and then of course, there's Kyle Bornheimer, which I've seen him in a bunch of stuff. He's Ray Krasinski or Krasinski. I don't know how to say his last name.
Oh yeah,
But he's in a whole bunch of comedy movies, and he's the goofy guy. He's the goofy agent,
goofy tough jock and stuff like that.
Yeah. But you'll recognize him. And,
the thing is I look at these people and I go, oh, I recognize them, but then I look at them in the show and I'm like, you look completely different than your IMDb picture right now, because I didn't even realize
that's because they got haircuts from the 50s. They've all got like 50s clothes on.
Yeah,
all
and
the girls have like the poofy, super curly
it
hair.
really does change. Like it makes you look completely different.
Yes, and like surprising. The show so far really good.
Yeah,
I enjoyed it a lot.
I'm a huge fan of it. I love all the pulp stuff, anything like from the 1940s.
And
50s.
you love the period piece stuff, so you love movies like that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not as huge of a fan of those because I like more futuristic. You know?
But they throw Rocketeer style science in here, and that's what gets you.
That's fun.
Like a bomb that explodes and then has a gravitational pull afterwards and implodes.
Yeah, there's a lot of really cool stuff. The acting, I think, is top notch.
Oh yeah.
When I saw,
I would say the acting's better than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
When I saw, oh yeah, for sure. When I saw Chad Michael Murray in it, I was like, oh gosh,
here we go,
the One Tree Hill guy. No, he actually plays a really good part. Yeah. At first, he seems like kind of a huge dickbag. Like you're such a jerk. And later, he's like, you're not. You're just trying to do your job. You're a little misguided, but you're trying to do your job.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that Haley Atwell's character is great, and I think that Haley Atwell is good at playing the role, because she's been 3 different characters with this. She was regular Peggy Carter, and then she became like a blonde Brooklyn girl to get into this nightclub.
Yes.
And she, completely different voice, sounded completely different, really worked well, kind of as that sensual, I need to see the club owner kind of feel.
And then she also was a
inspector,
a scientist.
And oh my gosh, her as the inspector was super hilarious. And she just does that kind of thing. It kind of reminds me of Orphan Black, where the one lady plays like 7 different people, which I think are all clones or different personalities or something.
They're all different personalities.
Okay. Yeah. Which is really hard for a character to do, like, or an actor or an actress to do.
Yeah. Well, and it's a testament to their acting ability if they can pull it off.
It was a really cool 2 hours. I was having fun the entire way. Like usually with these shows, I'm kind of like, oh, this is fun, and then I make some jokes here or there. I don't remember making any or too many jokes.
I don't either. I think we were pretty happy with it.
Yeah, we were pretty hooked into it.
And there wasn't a lot, there wasn't a lot in there that I was like, yeah, right.
Yeah,
you know, it was a lot of like, oh, that was cool. Actually,
that was kind of cool. The whole things that you're like, oh my gosh, that is exactly how it would be. For example, the typewriter. One of the evil guys has a typewriter that he types something out, and it's radio connected to another typewriter somewhere that the person is receiving the same information.
Yeah, and they can type, and it types on its own back, but it's super slow,
and
super clunky.
And it's like super new messaging system style.
Yeah. Exactly. I can't really find much wrong with it.
Yeah.
It got better, way better ratings than Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I think the acting is better.
Yeah.
I think, and they did this, in my opinion, was a good choice. There's more comedy in it than there is in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
I think Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has found its comedy.
It's starting to.
Yeah.
Especially with Coulson. Coulson needs to be the dry wit, dry humor, you know, doesn't ever really crack a smile or laugh.
But he makes the jokes.
But he says something that makes you go, ha,
nice.
nice. You know.
No, I think this one had that comedy, and it kind of had more fun because they realized we can kind of poke fun at the 1950s with this.
Oh, yeah.
Like the whole parallel between her fighting and them listening to a Captain America radio soap.
Yes.
Which is super cool.
You get to see how they do the radio soap, where they're making punching sounds by slapping a big raw piece of meat, which I thought was hilarious.
which I just kind of love. See, it's that pulp that I just love that pulp.
So if you were going to rate it, how many geek cards would
I
you
would
give
say, I would say 5. I would have to give it 5.
Okay.
Because
I'm
once
4
again,
out of 5.
Yeah, I'm completely in because it's that 1940s,
and it's right up your alley
piece.
as far as TV
Yep.
shows go. Which I think is funny because there's been other 50s style TV shows, you haven't watched, and you even commented
It's
like,
not-
why haven't I watched anything like that?
So you pointed out,
I pointed
not
out
Mad
Mad
Max, Mad Men. I was
Pointed
gonna say
out Mad Men, but there have been others out there
Yeah.
too.
But I mean, Mad Men doesn't interest me. Like the thing that interests me is not that it's the 1950s.
It's that it's Marvel in the 1950s.
No. It's that it's the 1950s action. That kind of
okay.
That kind of like the Spirit, the Rocketeer. There's a couple others.
The Red Panda.
The Red Panda. I mentioned that as one of my picks of the week, where it's just these cool superheroes that have to deal with this 1950s technology. Captain Midnight is another one. It's super fun. I just enjoy it a whole lot. So
right.
go check it out, guys.
Corey gives it 5 out of 5. I give it 4 out of 5.
And it's only going to be better. It's going to go through March, and then S.H.I.E.L.D. comes back.
Which is awesome. I did say earlier we have to wait till March for S.H.I.E.L.D. However, that's okay because now we have this to kind of tide us over until we get S.H.I.E.L.D. back.
Yep. So there you go.
Yeah.
All right. I think that does it for our reviews.
And I think, let's see, is there anything next week? I couldn't remember off the top of my head if there was anything next week we were going to watch that was sort of geeky coming up in January.
I can't remember myself.
I know we mentioned a few.
Yeah, we mentioned a
few
lot
of them
last week with our topic. But
there was let's see, Paddington.
Oh yeah,
American Sniper, Spare Parts.
So again, doesn't really look like anything.
Yeah,
I'm sure
really.
the wife and I will go see Paddington when it comes out.
Yeah,
but that's pretty much. I mean, I don't think you'll come along with us there.
I don't think we're gonna get anything to review until
January 30th,
the 23rd. Actually, we have Mordecai.
Oh, okay.
Or Strange Magic to go
Well,
watch.
I think this next week we should be done with Star Trek. We can review that.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Season 1.
Star Trek Season 1.
Now, does the Netflix series have all the HD stuff too?
I don't know
Because
that's
I
a good
heard
question.
somebody talking about how it was in HD on Netflix.
That's a good question. We should go check it out.
Mm-hmm. Well,
mainly because we're almost done with Season 1 and we want to watch Season 2.
Yeah, but
and,
we don't want to pay for Season 2.
I want to get the Blu-ray version where it's all the high quality, all the remastered stuff, which I can tell you makes Star Trek much better.
Such a difference.
Such a different show.
Mm-hmm.
However, it's like $70 for Season 2.
Yeah.
And I'm going, ooh, because Season 1 was only $30.
Well,
that's how they get you.
Before we get to anything else, let's go ahead and get into our trailers and videos.
Maybe it's because of all the horrific things we've seen, but hippos wearing tutus just don't unnerve me the way they used to.
All right, it's time to talk about all the trailers and cool videos we saw this week.
Yeah, and let's talk about the biggest one, Ant-Man.
Ant-Man.
Okay, you see what I said? See what I did there? The biggest
The biggest.
one?
Geek high five. Which is just like a normal high five, but we're geeks.
Only very sweaty. Sweaty palms.
Yeah, geek high five is you wipe on your pants first
before
and
you
then
high five. You wipe the Cheeto dust off your fingers.
Yes.
Ant-Man. So they had the teaser trailer that came out, ant-sized, and it was very, very tiny. It was blown up by another user.
Yep. And
Pretty
terrible quality.
Terrible quality because it was already small.
Yep.
But Marvel came out and released the full version, and you get to see, Hank Pym. Hank, right? I keep thinking Henry for some reason.
It's Hank.
Hank Pym.
Henry Pym is his son.
His son, that's right. Hank Pym, old, played by
Michael Douglas.
Throat cancer, Michael Douglas. But, and I say that jokingly. If you know anything about Michael Douglas, you'll know why I'm laughing.
Yeah.
Anyways, Michael Douglas. So they went with the older Hank Pym. Has created something, the Ant-Man suit and the technology.
Yep, the Pym particle technology.
To shrink people or shrink items down to ant size or smaller.
And his company is taken over apparently by Corey Stoll's character, which we talked about earlier.
Which is going to be Yellow Jacket.
And his daughter. It helped Corey Stoll. Hope Van Dyne.
His daughter?
Mm-hmm. His daughter's in on it.
Hope? Not Janet?
Nope, Janet's his wife.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Hope is the
Hope's
daughter.
going to be the new Wasp. Possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. All right. So, anyways, it's Michael Douglas, which he's got a great narrating voice.
Yeah.
And he talks to Scott
Lang.
Correct.
A criminal.
A criminal. He's been in
down
he's
on
been
his
in
luck.
prison. He basically says everyone deserves a second chance.
Yep.
Why don't you become?
Hold on. Hank Pym says, "I've been watching you, Scott," and it shows Hank Pym in front of all these monitors, and people are like, "Oh, he's got the prison bugged with his own equipment." And I'm like, "He's got the prison bugged with ants,
with bugs."
Mm-hmm.
And he basically says, I believe everyone deserves second chances.
Yep.
And you have a daughter. You need to think of your daughter, and we need to save the world, not for us, but for your daughter.
for them. Mm-hmm.
So
I need you to become
the Ant-Man.
The Ant-Man.
And Paul Rudd, his character Scott, goes, huh, when he says that.
Yep.
So this movie's going to be comedic.
Oh yeah, there's no way it
and
can't
the trailer
be.
shows it's all serious at the beginning, and there's people running and fighting and things, and
He
and
summons a flying ant, which is, oh my gosh.
Okay, yeah, the movie at first he hits a button and he shrinks, and that's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's cool. But what's really cool about Ant-Man is the fact that he can control ants and get them to do things for him. They go and scout things out and come back and
They
report. to
destroy
him.
wiring by
Yeah.
biting in it and everything like that.
But he summons one to fly on.
Because
And
let's face it, people, some ants fly.
yes, they do.
Royal ants.
If you've
fly.
ever had ants in your house in the summertime,
Yep.
you know that they can fly because they
can
always
fly.
end up like dying near your windowsills and
Yeah.
stuff. But that right there sold me on the trailer.
Yeah.
I didn't at first. I was like, okay, I'm interested because Ant-Man, but what's going on? What's going on? What's going on? Oh, it's flying on an ant. I'm done.
Yep, that's
I'm
good.
in.
That's
I'm
it.
good. However, this is probably the only trailer we're going to see until after Age of Ultron or Age of Ultron previews.
I think Age of Ultron previews maybe a couple months before that. You might see another
Maybe.
trailer.
Maybe.
And then as soon as it hits
Because they don't want
June,
they don't
you're
want
gonna
to take
see like a
they don't
bunch
want
of
to take
TV
it away.
spots.
They don't want to take it away from Age of Ultron. But as soon as Age of Ultron hits,
Yeah.
end of May, you're right. Probably the June, it'll be tons of TV spots, commercials all over YouTube and stuff. And then July will come out, and you've got Ant-Man movie. The trailer's fun. It's a teaser. I've had conflicting views.
Yeah.
Not personally, but from friends.
Outside sources.
Some people are super excited for it, and others are like, well, I don't know much about the character, so I don't really care. So what's going on,
Yeah.
But yeah, that one's fun.
All right. And yes, I realize that I misspelled this name. I don't.
Messingers. Messengers.
Messengers is the next trailer we're going to talk about.
A new CW series is getting its first trailer.
I was excited for this at first.
I'm still on the fence about it.
Because we started out this trailer with just normal CW stuff.
Glimpses of
different people's lives.
You've got a convict. You've got a preacher. You've got a mom and her daughter. You've got a girl that's a scientist.
Boy who's on the swim team.
Just a standard high school kid, teenager. And then all of a sudden you see shots of
a shockwave.
Of an asteroid or a meteorite flying through the atmosphere, slams into the ground. A shockwave hits them, but not a normal shockwave, not like a blow them off their feet. It's kind of like a ripply energy thing that hits them, and it kills them.
Yeah.
But
then they come back like 30 seconds later.
Yeah, and then they wake back up, and
which you saw that with the preacher, and you were just like, "Oh, here we go."
Yep. But that actually near the end. Okay. So all these
superpowers too.
They get some kind of powers. The mom ends up being able to heal her daughter because she was driving a car when this happened. She dies, gets in a huge wreck. Her daughter's in a coma, and she ends up crying, and her tear lands on her forehead and runs down into the wound, and all of a sudden her daughter wakes up, and the wound heals really quick. The boy is getting beat up by a bunch of jocks,
and he
ends up getting super strength, or it unlocks or whatever, and he throws one of them into a car windshield and stuff. I didn't see what the scientists didn't show any of hers.
Yeah, she didn't really have any power as far as I could see.
The preacher, they don't show any of his.
He said that he was getting visions of the future.
Okay, so yeah, he says he's getting visions of the future.
And then the convict can read minds.
The convict, yeah, he ends up being able to read minds.
And I was like, oh, great. It's like Heroes.
Yeah.
We got a new Heroes.
It's like Heroes. And
then the boy looks into a mirror or a card window, and he sees angel wings on his back.
Yeah,
that are just like kind of transparent and only there when he's looking in the mirror.
So I started watching the trailer and I'm like, this is kind of cool. I'm kind of getting into this. Maybe an alien spaceship lands and of course there is an alien or a guy.
Yeah.
That comes down and he seems evil though.
Oh,
so
evil.
why would they be angels? Unless
maybe he's the devil, and maybe the shockwave creates angels to try and stop him.
That is possible. So it could either be a sci-fi,
yeah,
or it can be a mythological fantasy, heaven and hell type thing, or it could be sci-fi aliens from space technology deal.
Yeah,
not sure. And that's the one thing. And the preacher's character, I was like, here we go.
Yep.
He's gonna start because he's on stage in front of a big crowd, and he's doing the whole like, I'm gonna heal you type thing, and then he passes out and dies,
and then comes back to life.
And then later he starts talking about, I was dead on stage for 30 seconds, and now I'm still here,
and I have a new message for you.
But then he says, I have a new message, and then apparently there's this contention with his new message.
Yeah.
So maybe he saw something that goes against.
I don't know.
We don't know. Go watch it.
Yeah.
Tell us what you think, whether or not you're excited for it, what you think your theories are. But CW show called Messengers, and I don't know.
In the meantime, while you guys are watching that,
there's other CW stuff coming out. There's one that I'm actually. We've got Arrow's mid-season promo trailer,
which is called Left Behind.
Left Behind.
If you want to go watch it,
should I get kind of spoilery here?
No, we did the spoilers at the mid-season finale. Suffice it to say, it just shows you clips of what's going to happen with the mid-season premiere, and
with Red
we
Arrow.
Actually already spoiled it. And now that I think about it, when we talked about Diggle taking up the mantle.
Okay,
so sorry.
Yep. But they have a trailer out for it.
Yeah.
They've also got a trailer for Flash.
Yay.
Called Revenge of the Rogues.
Which is the episode coming out for the mid-season premiere.
Captain Cold, Heat Wave. Maybe they'll pick up Weather Wizard as well. That'd be cool.
No, he'll be episode 15.
He'll be later. Okay.
Is what they announced.
But basically, Captain Cold captures the scientist.
What is her name?
Woman helping. I can't remember.
Not Cisco.
Not Cisco. He's our favorite character in that show.
The other lady, Maggie?
No, it is not Maggie.
Jillian?
No, Jillian. No.
I'm just gonna say random names until you find it. Bruce?
Bruce? Yeah, that's Bruce. It's Bruce.
Yeah, I think it's Bruce actually. Clara?
No.
Amy Pond?
No. Caitlin Snow.
Caitlin.
Yep.
Caitlin. Oh, Caitlin. Jon Snow's sister.
She knows nothing. Yeah. She does not look like that in the show.
Nope.
I'm looking at IMDb right now, and
of course they have to have a good IMDb photo.
Okay. Anyways, Caitlin Snow.
She gets captured.
By the Rogues, kidnapped, and they send. And send the Flash to us, or else she dies.
And I'm sure it's going to be send the Flash to us, and the Flash is going to recruit Firestorm's help.
Yes.
He's like, I need your help. I can't fight these guys alone.
Yep.
You've got fire powers. You take on Cold.
Fight fire with fire. Fight heat wave with fire. So yeah, they came out with that. Then CW also released another trailer for another new show, and which I have to applaud CW. Right now, they're taking risks and making new shows that are not just
the same
old garbage. Really,
drama, One Tree Hill, OC crap that they usually do.
Yeah, they're actually taking risks. They're doing comic-based shows. They're doing geeky shows. They're doing supernatural style shows. This one's called iZombie, based off a comic book with the same name, or a comic book series.
I believe it's a DC. I think it's DC as well.
I thought it was independent, like IDW.
Maybe it's Vertigo. I'll look it up while you're talking about it.
Anyways, iZombie is about a girl. She goes to a party, and this is the plot before we get to the trailer. She goes to a party that ends up becoming a zombie attack
Okay.
of some sort. And
It is a comic book series by writer Chris Robertson and Michael Allred, published by DC Comics Vertigo.
Yeah. So it's Vertical, which is quote independent, but they're still owned by DC Comics.
So she goes to this party.
She goes to the party. It gets under attack by zombies, and she ends up getting bit by a zombie, or somehow gets infected with the zombie virus and becomes a zombie.
Yeah.
And so, you know,
It looks really interesting.
and not in a bad way.
It's her trying to fit in with society.
Yeah, don't take my pause as a bad thing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to collect my thoughts here because there's a lot I want to say about it, but without just
Like blurting
the
all out.
whole thing.
Yeah.
So she's trying to fit in with society because she's dead.
Yep.
But
and all she has the taste for is human brains.
Using human brain. Yep.
Yep.
And so the scene starts out where she goes, "My name is Liv," which right there, that's kind of a funny, Liv, die.
I didn't even realize that. No, that's not funny. That's
Yes, it
comedy
is.
brawn, Scott.
Oh, come on. I think it's ironic.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
It's ironic. And she comes up to the register in a supermarket, and the lady scans bronzer, like for tanning,
And then Night of the
and
Living
Night of the
Dead.
Living Dead, and probably some other things that are
Yeah.
zombie related, and it kind of gives her a weird look. And she's pale. She has
Kinda
sunken eyes.
eyes.
They're kind of bloodshot.
And they're kind of constantly darting around. Like that's something
Yeah.
I noticed about her is her eyes are kind of looking at everything like she's looking for food.
Yeah,
You know.
and then she states, "I've been trying to make it live. I'm trying to fit in, but I have a hunger."
I think one of her lines is, "I'm a zombie," so there's that.
There's that. Yeah.
So she works for the morgue.
Yes.
And she basically takes people's brains out after the morgue
And eats 'em.
And eats them
To survive.
Well, it turns out that when she eats these brains, she gets images and dreams about these people's lives.
From the person the brain came from.
Sort of like the comic book Chew,
Yes.
but not being Chew.
Yeah. So in Chew, he can eat anything he eats. He gets flashes of the history of that item, or so like if he eats beef, he sees the cow's death, the cow's life, the mistreatment of him. If he actually eats human flesh, which he has done in the comics before,
he does that all the time, actually.
so that he can find out how this person died. He's a detective. Well, she finds out she can do this. She ends up teaming up with a real detective,
on the pretense that she's a psychic.
that she's a psychic, and she goes sort of. Which it looks fun.
It really does look like a lot of fun.
When I first saw this, I was like, "Oh, here we go, another Vampire Diaries, another OC."
Yep.
But then I started watching, and I was like, "No, this
looks
This
really interesting.
looks funny. It looks fun." There's going to be a lot of she gets shot and thrown off of a car, and ends up getting up and just kind of brushing herself off. 'Cause she's already dead, so
So it's like nothing
what
but
can
a
they,
headshot.
Yeah, what can they do? But
no, it looks good.
I was very impressed with it, and I will be adding that to the list of stuff to watch at least for me.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
so-
I'll be right there with you.
So that's our TV trailers.
Yep,
quite a
and-
few of them.
And we have one video trailer for you.
Yeah, I had another one on my mind, but I can't remember what it was now. But anyways, there's a new one out for Chappie.
Chappie.
And it actually, so if you've watched the first one, you know that a robot gets they give him sentience, and so that he can try to learn and or it can try to learn. I don't think it has gender. So, but it's got a name and stuff like that. But it's kind of a weird trailer. You don't really know what's going on. You see a lot of quick clips of stuff that have
and
no
it's
explanation.
More action-y for this one.
This one, it's a lot more action. Well, basically, the plot is they created in 2016, they released Robot Police, which everyone apparently loves, except for a few people.
They work great.
They work great. They've dropped crime rates because they don't get tired. They don't make mistakes as far as human mistakes.
Yeah.
Like when humans get tired, police get tired, they start
making
They
errors
think
and-
that someone's pulling a gun on them, when
They're
really
not.
they were just taking their hand out of their pocket or something like that. But this doesn't happen with the robots because they're able to calculate all that and they can see everything way faster than humans could. And so people are loving them, but there's of course one guy that thinks that they're terrible and AI is unpredictable.
And that guy is everybody's favorite Aussie and favorite
Hugh Jackman.
Wolverine.
Favorite Wolverine, Hugh Jackman. He wants to try to push human-controlled robots, which is basically the ED 201, 209, Ed 209.
Yeah, it's basically the Ed 209.
Yeah, it's basically Ed 209 from RoboCop. The big
Except for
one
it's
that he
human
fights.
controlled.
Except for, it's human controlled and not AI controlled. So this new trailer's got a lot more plot exposition.
Yep.
So you kind of know what's going on. You know where Chappie came from. He was damaged in a fight or maybe a gang fight or something. And this scientist wants to take these robots and make, instead of just being like slaves, he wants to try to
Make sentient.
see if they can make their own decisions and learn and adapt,
Which
things like that.
he makes one, and then immediately everybody wants to kill it because they think it's going to be the end of humanity.
Yeah. Which,
So-
you know, maybe in that world, in that universe, it's not such a bad thing.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't know. We haven't watched it yet. It's from Neil Blomkamp.
Yep.
Blomkamp?
Blumenkamp.
Blumenkamp?
Blomkamp.
Bloomin' Onion?
Yep. The director of Elysium and District 9.
Yes.
Both good movies.
Two good movies. District 9, fantastic. Elysium's good.
Yeah.
Not as good as District 9, but still good.
He's got a good way of making kind of like a dystopian look to his movies.
He's got... and I love the way he makes futuristic guns. He makes futuristic robots. In this case. So basically, they're like they look like the precursor to the Elysium security bots. Is kind of what they look like to me. So that's cool, and it's fun. But that's the only movie one I could think of. There was another one, but I can't remember what it was now.
It's not important then.
Apparently not.
All right.
And then we have another fun video that we saw. It is a 2014.
I didn't see that one there.
2014 comic book movie supercut trailer. Who did this? Do you know?
I don't know. I can look it up really quick here. You might hear a little bit of sound in just a moment.
Yeah, other than our voices.
Oh no, this could be bad.
Oh,
Nope, I paused it just in time.
Michael DeLau.
I don't know if this is the original one though.
Oh, well, either way.
No, I think it is. So,
Either way, he created a supercut of all the movies that came out in 2014
that are comic book related.
that are comic book related. So we've got Sin City: A Day to Kill For. You've got Spider-Man 2 or Amazing Spider-Man 2,
X-Men Days of
Future Past, Captain America: Winter Soldier, Guardians of the Galaxy,
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
and then you've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And,
Come on.
and 300 Rise of an Empire.
I know it sucks, and that right there is the only problem that I have with the trailer. Is
That-
not TMNT, that's fine, but 300 Rise of an Empire does not have anything aesthetically to do with the rest of them.
Was it even... I know 300 is based off a comic book.
Well, I think he's considering stuff based off of stuff that's based off a comic book as a comic book movie.
Well, if we're going to go that far, everything can be based off a comic book at some point in time. So it's fun.
Yeah, it's a nice
Fun,
little
kind of just throws it together. There's not really much to say about it other than it's just a bunch of clips from the show.
Go check it out.
And what Corey pointed out, what you pointed out, was that some of those movies are super disappointing.
Yes.
And you realize now after seeing the supercut, you're like, oh.
Yeah, because you look at these and you're just like,
That could have been so good.
that would have been that's so good, because in the trailer everything looks great.
Yeah.
Like Amazing Spider-Man 2 looks great in the trailer, so disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, the Rhino. Why'd they even throw that in there?
Let's not get into this. It's just going to depress us.
All right. But anyways,
Yep.
that's been your trailers and video
Videos.
reviews.
And so let's go ahead and we'll get into our picks of the week.
Now, if there's one thing you can be sure of, it's that nothing is more powerful than a young boy's wish. Except an Apache helicopter. An Apache helicopter has machine guns and missiles. It is an unbelievably impressive complement of weaponry, an absolute death machine.
That's right. It's time for our picks of the week. What we have been geeking out about this week. And Scott, you have been obsessed with your pick of the week.
Kind of, yes.
Like super obsessed. Like to the point of ignoring all the other friends. Obsessed.
Well, you know.
Please, continue.
All right. So we've been watching Star Trek Next Generation. right? And having a lot of fun with that.
Yep.
We're watching it not because it's like the greatest thing ever, but because it's fun.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun watching it, and there's a lot of we're kind of goofy to watch shows with. You may look at us from an outside perspective and think that we hate the show because we're making fun of it nonstop. But no, we actually, to me, that makes the show better.
Yeah, well, when you can sit there and actively make fun of it.
If I sit down in front of a TV show or a movie and I go, and I just kind of grumble the whole time,
that's when you know
and
you
I'm
don't
quiet,
like it.
then you know I just don't care. You know, but if I'm like cracking jokes, not in the theater, people. This is at home in the Scooterplex.
I crack jokes in the theater, but I'm really quiet about it.
Yeah, well, me and Corey will elbow each other all the time, lean over and be like, you know. But so we've been watching Star Trek, which has gotten me kind of into I want to play a space game.
Yep.
And I talked a little bit about Elite Dangerous a couple
Last
week. And that's fun. I'm playing that. But I kind of have rolled back to a game that I haven't played in a long time, Star Trek Online.
Yeah.
It is the MMO RPG Star Trek Universe Online. It has Paramount's, or CBS that owns Paramount, has Paramount's blessing. Basically, here...
It's got voice actors from the show.
It's got voice actors. It's got new storylines. It's all set after Nemesis.
Yep.
After the Star Trek 10, I think, 10, 11 Nemesis. And... there's two different types of play style. There's space combat, where you actually fly your Federation starship or Klingon or Romulan or whatever.
You fire your torpedoes
and your phasers. You
divert power to shields.
Yep, you divert power. You scan stuff. You emergency power to shields. You beam down to planets.
Yep. And when you beam down to the planets, you get into
That's
the second
when you get in the second form, which is just like World of Warcraft, where you are a third-person view. So you can see all of your character.
Yep.
You walk around with the phaser, tricorder, things like that. You do missions. You decode secret messages. You go capture people. You save hostages.
You get into firefights.
You get into firefights with phasers and disruptors and torpedoes and all kinds of stuff.
It's everything that Star Trek can't be on the screen all the time.
At least as far as budget is concerned. But I've been having a lot of fun with it lately.
It is a pretty fun
And
game.
yes, there have been times where I've been kind of distracted with it, but that's okay because,
that just means you're enjoying it.
I am enjoying it a lot.
Yep.
And that's my pick of the week. That's what I've been geeking out. And mainly because they've got a new expansion they've added to it. It's all free to play, by the way.
Oh yeah.
I have to mention that.
It's freemium, of course.
It's completely free to play, and you can get all the basic ships, and you can get the basic uniforms and things like that. And of course, you can pay for more stuff, which
cosmetic or
which is
otherwise.
fine. Which is fine, but most of it is cosmetic. It's not like pay to win.
Yeah.
You can't pay for the best ships. You can pay for the cooler looking ones.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they're better.
Yep.
So that's what I've been doing. Totally free. They've got an expansion out called the Delta Rising, and it's basically the Delta Quadrant is now open,
Which is crazy.
Which is where the TV show Voyager, Star Trek Voyager, was set, where they get sucked across the galaxy basically, and they have to try to make their way home. There's all kinds of crazy stuff happens,
which is
and that's where the Borg are located actually. And so yes, there's all kinds of cool stuff now, and the problems that plagued it beforehand, where there wasn't a lot of content, it seemed too easy. Like, you were able to level to 50 in no time.
Yeah, exactly.
And because it was just super easy. Well, now it's not as easy.
They've kind of hardened it a little bit.
They've made it harder. They've added more content. But you can do as much or as little as you want. Sometimes I log in and I do one little mission and I'm done. Other times I spend hours playing mission after mission after mission because this planet has so many things on it to do. That's my pick of the week. I have a lot of fun.
Very cool.
And I'm trying to see if I can get you back into it so that we can both play together.
Yeah, I'm looking at it, kind of enjoying it.
It's free.
So
It's free.
I know. I just kind of don't like the prospect of me jumping back into my level 50 and trying to learn everything again.
I was a little nervous about jumping into my character as well. No problem. Okay. But we could start off a new one. You can have up to like 20 characters, I think.
Is it 20?
It's a lot.
Back then it was 2.
Really? I think you can have, it's probably only like a couple, and then you got to pay for more slots. Yeah. That's kind of how they do it. They're like, you can have as many starships as you want, but switch between them, but you can only have 7 on your own, per character. And then you got to pay for more slots for them. So.
Well, because you went sci-fi, I obviously have to go fantasy.
Obviously.
So my pick of the week is a webcomic that is fantasy-based. And not only fantasy-based, but Dungeons and Dragons-based in itself.
And don't let that scare you.
No. So this author, artist, is named Rich Perlow. And he came out with the Order of the Stick comic book, which is an amazing...
Webcomic.
Webcomic. Yeah. Which is an amazing webcomic. It's at Giant in the Playground Games or giantitp.com. The webcomic is basically a group of adventurers who know that they are in a D&D world, so they know that their attacks are determined by dice rolls that are taking place just by the worlds. Is basically taking the D&D mechanics and making it the physics of the plane.
And I'm going to pull you aside here real quick. And when I say by don't let that scare you is when I first started reading this comic, I had never played D&D in my life.
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about it. I had no idea how the game worked. I had no idea. So some of the jokes did go over my head, but
That's true.
I was able to pick up the plot, the story, the characters. It was fun.
And that's the thing is, as the story goes on, the characters become more developed, and their reliance on the game rules becomes a little bit less so. Like, there's still... The physics of the world is still governed by... You can only cast so many spells per day.
Yes.
You can only, hit somebody if you've got the right type of material, if they've got resistance to it. All the D&D tropes are still there, but Rich kind of goes away from that and just starts making jokes based on the characters. It is really well done. I've got all of his books, which are about like $30 a piece, and he's got like 6 of them out there. But don't be afraid; you don't have to spend $30. They're all at giantitp.com for free.
I read through the archives. I think I was like 100 issues behind or something.
Yeah.
And I was able to read through them all in a couple hours.
Yep. I think he's up to 900 now or something like that.
And it sounds like a lot, but in the world of webcomics, it's not that much.
No.
I mean, I've been able to pick up webcomics when they're in the thousands.
Yeah.
And over the course of a week, catch up just when I have some spare time.
Because they're like 4 or 5 panels. And he doesn't do 4 or 5 panel ones. He does like a full page.
But they flow really well.
And the jokes are great. The characters are absolutely amazing with them.
Yeah, they're not
and
just
super developed.
They're not just one-dimensional characters. They all have history and depth.
And even one thing that I was just reading his latest book, and I was reading the foreword with it, and the guy was talking about how Order of the Stick takes the tropes and doesn't break them like a lot of authors these days are doing. They're breaking tropes to be like, oh, this is a dwarf, but he doesn't drink and he doesn't have a beard, and it's like, oh, well, you're just kind of spinning all over fantasy there.
Yeah.
But he takes these tropes, like his dwarf is a drinker, he worships Thor, he's a classic dwarf, but yet you feel for that character. Like, this is a comic that continually makes me go, oh, man, that sucks for that person,
Yeah.
Or I can't believe that they have to go through with that.
But
So
there's
go check it
also,
out.
that's just the low points. There's also really high points
Oh,
where you're
my
like,
gosh.
oh, that was way cool.
Yeah.
I can't believe they were able to do that.
That was so funny. Or, I should also point out that the reason why it's called Order of the Stick, well, there's a whole different reason. They're stick figures. This is a webcomic with stick figures, and this is my, like, absolutely all-time favorite webcomic. I have felt more about this webcomic than I have about other webcomics that have full-on drawings.
Yeah.
Like, to make me feel emotion about stick figures, you've got something there.
But not they're a little less stick figure-y. They have torsos. They have heads and torsos that are drawn, but the torsos are square.
Yep.
And the heads are round.
Yep.
And then, of course, their arms and legs are stick.
Except for, well, he updated his art a little bit, which added a little bit more definition to it, which is cool. But
it's
yeah,
fun. It's way fun.
It is super awesome. So go check him out if you want. I mean, if you just want to read the regular comic, it's all online for free. He's got a couple of prequel books that are all original content about the characters, and he's got all of his books that you can buy come with bonus comics.
Bonus comics, and sometimes when he does Kickstarters and stuff, and you
I've got bonus web comics.
you get like
PDFs.
a calendar. A calendar with pictures from the comic that he draws, or characters from the comic he draws, and you get stickers and you've got stickers, magnets, posters, all kinds of cool stuff
from his last Kickstarter.
for being able to help him get that started.
Which I think he was one of the first non-video games to break 1 million on Kickstarter.
That's Impressive.
Like
Very,
he
very
was-
well
yeah.
done.
And that was all just to get his books reprinted so that he could, like, people could get out there, so you could get out there more.
I really
so.
enjoyed it as well.
Yeah.
Great pick of the week.
Thank you. And that's going to do it for the Acts of Geekery podcast. Another episode down, on our way to the big
And-
100.
Infinity more to go.
Yep.
as far as we know.
As long as you guys keep supporting us like you are.
Yes. Please share this podcast. If you have friends, family, neighbors,
Random strangers
you're-
that are wearing geek shirts, walk up to them and just shout "Acts of Geekery" in their face, and then walk away.
but then as you walk away, say
It's a
ACTS,
podcast.
not AXE. But share us around. We would love to get more listeners, get more emails, more comments, more posts.
The
all that
more
kind of
people
stuff.
we get, the bigger we can grow.
the more things we can do.
Yeah, we can do companion podcasts. We've got some ideas there for things like, I don't know,
A gaming podcast.
or telling you all about the heroes that we talk about during the show.
We actually had an idea for a podcast where we watch a movie, or not even a podcast, but like a video,
A commentary.
kind of like Mystery Science
Science,
Theater,
yeah.
but we make jokes about it. We've had all kinds of stuff, and we would love to do this. And as long as you keep supporting us, we can do this.
Yeah.
Those videos that we did about our Christmas stuff that we got.
Yeah.
I would love to. We'd love to do that.
We'd love to do more Let's Play videos and actually,
some review some statues and some games and some toys and just keep supporting us, you guys.
May
You're
I
doing-
mention, this is all free for you. Like,
Yes.
we're not asking for money, just
Yeah.
for you to tell other people.
We're
about
not asking for money yet. But keep supporting us.
Yeah.
Go to YouTube and watch it.
You can go to Facebook, leave us a comment there. Facebook.com/Acts of Geekeries. Acts of Geekery, not
Acts of
Geekeries.
Geekery. You can go to our Twitter account and do the hashtag Acts of Geekery or at Acts of Geekery.
Yep. Or you can email us at actsofgeekery@gmail.com.
Yep.
And again, or iTunes. We forgot iTunes. We
Yeah.
always forget iTunes.
Don't forget iTunes.
Yeah,
We
go
shouldn't forget
go
iTunes.
yeah, go to iTunes, give us a subscribe, and this is where you can help us out probably the most right now. Give us a 5-star review on iTunes. Or if you like us that much. I mean,
Yeah.
come on. If you're listening to
Give
this
us a
many
5
episodes-
geek card review.
Exactly. And the more reviews we get, the higher on their like new and upcoming page we get. The more listeners we get, the more reviews we get, the more we get.
It's all cyclical.
Yep. And those are all ACTS, not AXE. Well, until next time, I'm Corey,
And I'm Scott.
and we're the Brothers Geek.
Keep geeking out.
See ya.